You do love that music, Marcus. I
Man,
appreciate that.
all I need is a glow stick, dude, and I'm like back in the '90s at the Hippodrome. Oh, I'm like, man, woo!
Very nice. What's going on, guys? I'm Raymond. You're watching RPAD TV 3000. I am joined today by the annoyed gamer himself, my excellent friend Marcus Beer.
Cheers.
Marcus, what's going on? What's in the glass?
That would be Penderyn single malt portwood cask. Some
Sounds
good
fancy.
shit from my homeland.
That's right. Of which you were just there.
I was just there. I was there as well. So yes, I was there, and it was 3 weeks, and it was interesting. While I was there, Liverpool didn't win a match,
That's true.
which was really quite depressing. Yeah, I got to see Liverpool play in 3 different pubs, and in all 3 pubs they didn't win. So thankfully, that's since I got home, things have been rectified with a 9-0 twatting of Bournemouth, and obviously the win over Time Waster FC
Yes.
the other night. So yes, we seem to be somewhat back on track. But yes, it was a nice 3 weeks. There were some ups and downs, as there always are in these things, but got to see family, got to see friends, and I can't really complain for once.
Look at this fancy Chiron I made for you today.
Oh, look at that! The thing is, now I got to go up. See, that's the thing. Now I got to sit up straight because my new chair hasn't arrived, and it's like I'm stuck on this old one, and this one tends to do this, and I'm like,
Well, what new chair did you get? I'm always.
I got. Where's my phone? Let me tell you. This is how tech I am. Where is it? Secret Lab.
Oh, very nice.
Secret Lab. Yeah. Hang on. What is it? Yeah, Secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 Series XL with Softweave Plus fabric.
You know who one of their latest endorsees is?
Who?
Kevin De Bruyne.
Ugh.
He has a partnership with.
Well, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. I know. That's the thing. See, not only that, this is a classic. Here we go. This is a classic one.
Wow. What year is that from?
This is from, you see it there?
Okay. Nice.
It's from the time we did the double in 85, 86.
Does Crown Paint still exist as a company?
Perhaps they do in the UK. I don't know. But yeah, this is one of my older shirts. So there's a couple more. I want to get a Carlsberg shirt. But yeah, I'm liking getting the different type shirts. I obviously got the new strip as well, which you've seen. And look at you rocking your Raypad 55.
Yes.
So
today we're going to talk about the summer transfer window. It was a new record monetarily. I think it was 1.9 billion pounds.
It's freaking ridiculous, isn't it?
But it wasn't, for me, it wasn't as exciting as some of the other ones because a lot of the good business got done pretty early in the window. So you didn't have those big, like, last day deals.
Trust me, some of us were refreshing our apps all day Thursday. Some of us actually had the NBC stream, the Peacock stream on here actually on my computer while I'm rebuilding and redecorating my games room, which is why it's there's art not around. I'm waiting for a new TV to come in, the new gaming chair, etc. I'm going to repaint.
Oh, look at this! We have real-time fact checking. Crown Paints are still in business.
Well, thank you very much, Caleb. Good for you, good man.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was literally while I was putzing away yesterday, I was like, all right, okay, what do we got? And all they seem to focus on is frickin' scumbag Aubameyang going to Chelsea for 15 million. If I was Arsenal, I'd be pissed. I mean, you basically let a player go for nothing in January. And let him go to the club that he's wanted to go to his entire life, apparently. And then 6 months later, he's going to your West London rivals for 15 million. I'd sue his ass off. I would sue that he never gets to play football again and to sue him for back wages because he didn't turn a shift in for Arsenal for at least a season and a half. If I was Arsenal fans, I'd be getting ready to verbally crucify that gentleman. No violence, just words. Just words. Yeah. So, but it was an interesting day. You're right. There was no major deals other than Nottingham Forest breaking the transfer record for the most amount of transfers in the Premier League in the summer transfer break with 21. Which is basically a new squad.
Yeah. That's absolutely insane. Going back to Aubameyang for a second, I bet Arsenal fans are happy that at least he was mugged recently and got his jaw broken. That's a very odd thing.
I would never wish ill on any player that doesn't play for Manchester United. So no, I wouldn't. I mean, one can never. Violence is not the answer.
That is,
and you certainly don't want to see anybody, no matter how big a douchebag they are. Like that. Wait till that shit comes on the pitch, and then Arsenal are playing Chelsea, and somebody puts their boot through his knee.
It'll get nasty for sure.
It will. If Spurs Chelsea was anything to go by.
Oh yeah.
Google going. Argh! I mean, and we know that Mikel Arteta is a little bit of a passionate chap.
Yeah.
If This Is Arsenal is anything to go by, the comedy show on Amazon Prime, where he said, "I'm going to combat the Anfield effect by playing You'll Never Walk Alone on my training pitch." And we get twatted 4-0.
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't quite work out quite as well as he was thinking. But why don't we kick things off, since we're talking about Arsenal already, why don't we go down the big six clubs and judge their transfer windows? Let's give them some letter grades, as if we're doing the school thing. Where is my graphic there?
You have graphics and everything for everything.
They got a ticker. They got a little ticker down there.
Look at this. Oh my God, it's just like being on Peacock, this, isn't it? Or Sky Sports back at home. Hello, my name's Jeff Stelling, and this is Sky Sports, and we're going to talk about the football.
So Arsenal they got a bunch of Man City players. They got Gabriel Jesus, Alex Zinchenko. They also got Vieira, not Patrick Vieira.
The baby Vieira.
Yes. Turner, and they recalled Saliba from loan, which I thought was big.
I think they missed a trick by not signing a Hooch to go with Turner. But anyway, I think they've done very well. I mean, let's face it. You sign two players from Manchester City, you know you're getting quality. And in Jesus, they have an out-and-out goal scorer, which is what they've lacked for a while. I mean, unfortunately, Lacazette and Aubameyang just ended up faffing around too much. Zinchenko, I think I've said this to you before. I mean, watching him play for the Ukraine, watching him, play for Man City. I mean, he's a stellar player and seems to be fitting in quite well there. Unfortunately, he's injured right now, or as my fantasy league tells me.
Yes,
because he's in my team. And then Saliba, recalling him, turned out to be a nice little one as well. So I think they've done very, very well. They've spent big when needed to in Zinchenko and Jesus. The other ones perhaps not as, but I think they've basically improved their squad a lot more. They have a lot more strength in depth now. I mean, they've started the season very well. My concern is what happens. They haven't come up against any of last season's top four.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens when they go to Anfield. Or, I mean, this weekend they're going to they're playing Man United, aren't they? So that one has got a turgid 0-0 written all over it.
With players like you mentioned that they definitely improved their depth, but what I like about their signings is that they improve the attitude of the club. If you've watched Arsenal matches last year, sometimes they would play a great 80 minutes and then they would just like fuck off for the last 10 minutes and totally lose the game there. And when you have someone leading the line like Gabriel Jesus, who presses like a madman for all 90 minutes, you want to keep up with that. So I think it's a good they got some good character guys in addition to the talent.
They do, but like I said, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, Odegaard is the captain this season,
yeah,
which is great for him. I mean, he's a cracking player. I always liked him. They have some great players, but we can't really say if this has been a success until they come up against one of the big boys. Because if you remember last season, they started pretty well, unbeaten in 5. And then they started to get beaten from pillar to post, and then had the end of season collapse where they were just losing to everybody, and they went from 4th place to Europa League. And I think that's the other thing that's going to be interesting for Arsenal this season is the European League. Those Thursday, Saturday, or Thursday, Sunday matches, they're brutal because let's face it, Europa League is a tough one to play, especially when you have to go to Israel or yeah. I mean, I would say, do you go to Moscow? You go to Spartak Moscow, you go to Russia or the Ukraine, but obviously you don't go there right now. But you do get a lot of good teams and long journeys, and that's where the niggly injuries start to come in.
Right.
And there's no easy games there, especially even in the group stages there. So we'll see how they go. Like I said, they have a couple of defeats in the Premier League, and what's their focus this season? I don't think they're big enough on to really tackle every single tournament they're in. So it'll be interesting to see how Mikel Arteta, who is a very, very smart coach, has to be said, even though I take the piss out of him. It'll be interesting to see how he juggles his squad.
And it's interesting that you brought up how tough those Thursday to Sunday fixtures are. I think we're seeing that with West Ham. They're off to a bad start, and I think that's one of the reasons why. But let us keep with the big 6 in alphabetical order. Next is Chelsea. They picked up Raheem Sterling, Kalidou Koulibaly, Mark Cucurella, and his fantastic hair, Wesley Fofana, and of course Aubameyang, who we've been talking about already. I don't know. I mean, on paper it looks great, but they still seem like kind of a mess right now.
Yeah, I think they're suffering from the same thing they had last year. Where it's like they've signed these brilliant players. They brought Romelu Lukaku back, right, and they don't know how to fucking play them. I mean, that's for just for a start. Kubai in defense now with Fofana beside him. Because Fofana is a great young player and should be there for a while. He got a 6-year contract, I believe. He should provide. That's a centre back pairing for the next 5 years for Chelsea, providing Tuchel doesn't get fired. I am concerned, and this will be the first time I bring this up, but probably there's going to be numerous times I'm going to bring it up, as to where they're getting the bloody money to actually pay for all these players. Because Sterling was 50, Cucurella was 60? Yeah. Fofana was 70. Aubameyang, we know, was 15. Kubai was, I want to say, 40 to 50. I may be wrong on that one. But I mean, that's a fair chunk of change. And I know they've sold some players out. But I mean, Lukaku only went on loan. They didn't sell him. So they're taking a bath on that one because the loan agreement is not.
No, he was like 100 million, wasn't he?
He was 97 million a year ago. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, and that is, that's a team there where you have got 2/3 of a new defense, unless you're playing Cucurella in midfield, which means you're going for a 4-3-3. But he's more of a wide player. So, I mean, they've got so many different players. I just don't see how I don't think even Thomas Tuchel knows how it's going to work. And I think, unfortunately, Todd Bowley, who is the new GM, or the new owner, rather, I think he's literally gone for almost like, as the owner of the LA Dodgers, he's gone for a baseball all-stars kind of feel, where it's like, let's snap these guys up. These are names. These will sell shirts, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, Sterling is the only one who has really settled. He's got a couple of goals already. He is a top-quality player. I have to say that, obviously, because of the history with Liverpool. I mean, at the end of the day, He left. He wanted to win trophies, which he did. You can't argue with that. He didn't do well in Europe, though, did he?
One day.
But yeah, so they've bought a bunch of good players, some very good players. Aubameyang, is he going to last the season? Is he going to do? Is he going to do well? Wednesday or Tuesday to Saturday with the Champions League. Are they going to juggle him? What's going to happen to the existing players they've got? I mean, they did offload Timo Werner,
right?
But didn't he go on a loan? I'm not sure. I can't quite remember. They have. I mean, I feel sorry for Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic got to get the fuck out of Dodge. Pardon the language, people. He's got to get out of Dodge. He's got to go to a decent team. He never should have pitched up with Chelsea in the first place, to be honest with you. He'd have been better off staying in Germany, in my opinion. He is a fantastic player in a World Cup year for the US team captain, not guaranteed a first team status. I mean, he should go to Leeds, where he'd feel very at home. Where they do have half of the American continent playing and working and managing there. But yeah, I mean, where are these players going to fit in? It really is almost like throwing Monopoly money. Almost, there's like they're going for the West London Galacticos, and I just don't see how it's going to work. And I think by the time Tuchel gets any sense of order from that team and gets them playing well on a regular basis, they could be too far behind in the Premier League. They could be out of Europe. They could be out of the Cups. And they could be looking at a treading water season. And that does not bode well when they've spaffed so much money.
I agree. And what a crazy ride Tuchel has had. He came in, took over for Lampard, won Champions League. Great start. Then he had that crazy season with the ownership was banned. So they were no longer Chelsea, but they were in that nebulous period where they were uncertain of what the future was. They couldn't move any players. They couldn't buy any players. So it's been tough, but they've also, as you said, they spend a ton of money. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel bad and I don't, but I kind of regret picking them for the last Champions League spot in our preseason preview because they just don't look great now. They're a mess, and I don't think they'll recover. I think they might lose that fourth spot, maybe at Arsenal.
Maybe do it. Maybe Arsenal. Maybe look, the rate things are going. Liverpool might not make that top four. I'm not worried. We may come good, but yeah. So I mean.
They'll be fine, but
they might be mid-table. I don't know if Tuchel will actually see out the season.
Yeah, but
I mean, he's not going to be the first one to be sacked. Obviously, after Scotty Parker got the boot. Yeah, unfortunately, that's that. We'll talk about that. That's ridiculous, but I can't see Tuchel lasting the season if they have a couple of more results like they've already had. A couple of damaging results in the Champions League, and they could be SOL.
Oh, did we forget letter grades? Oh, that's on me. Arsenal, I'm going to give a B.
I'm going to give them a B+.
Yeah, that's fair.
They brought proven winners in Jesus and Zinchenko.
Yep.
That's a really, you can't. I would actually love to see both those players come to Liverpool, and I can't say fair on that. You're pulling in two quality players from the reigning multiple-year champions. I think it would have behooved us to actually put some things in there, especially as Jesus is a great closing down, and he's a different type of striker to what we already have. And then Zinchenko is just class in glass and can play in midfield, which is obviously an area that my team is woefully understaffed.
Right.
So yes, I'd give him a B+. Chelsea, I'd give a B- because simply the quality they've got, I just don't see how they're going to mold that into a team when they don't have a team in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, quality-wise, they should be in the B range, but chemistry-wise, I'm going to go C+ for Chelsea. Okay. I'm not quite sold on them. Zinchenko was quality for City, but tough to find minutes for. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why he wanted to leave. So we're going to move on to your team, Marcus. Liverpool. You got Nunez, Carvalho, Ramsey, and Arthur Melo on loan. Am I missing anyone there?
No.
I mean, great signing. We talked about Nunez in our last stream, and he's great, except for
when he loses his head by implanting it on somebody else.
When he does the Darwin Award.
And of course, he's back for this weekend, which is the Merseyside derby.
Right.
Going to Everton, that's a really good place to bring, to test your patience. I don't think he'll start it on Saturday. I think he'll be on the bench.
And Arthur was was it 2 days ago or 3 days ago? That was a pretty late one.
Yesterday, deadline day.
I think that's a great fit because, as you said, the midfield depth is a problem right now. You got young Mr. Elliott doing a pretty capable job, but you want someone maybe more senior there.
I honestly, it's our seniors that I'm really worried about. I think honestly, for Liverpool, I was very optimistic towards the beginning of the transfer season when we got our business done early with Nunez, Carvalho, and Ramsey, and I thought, you know what, this is good. We're looking good. But what I didn't count on is the rampant inability to shift the dead weight in the, particularly in the engine room. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, if he was a horse, he'd be shot. Or if he was a dog, he'd be sent to a farm upstate. As would
Milner.
Well, not Milner. Milner's actually the ones who stays fit. Naby Keita, who's been a waste of money his entire Liverpool career. At least the Ox played well into that really horrible knee injury. Keita's got no such excuse. He's been a waste of money. He's been taking money under false pretenses from Liverpool, and now he has the temerity to say, unless he's guaranteed a first-team spot, he's not going to renew his contract. Yeah. Great. I don't want you to renew your contract. Piss off right now, Naby Keita. You're not wanted. In fact, let's get rid of him, cancel his contract, free up some space, send him off on a free. I was hoping that clown could have been used as a down payment. Send him back to Germany because they seem to be suckers for him over there. He needs to go away. He is useless. So I'm looking at our signings. Yeah, Nunez, great. He's come in. He's not the top choice we would have wanted. He did, he started well in the Charity Shield.
Yeah.
When he came on against Fulham, he did well again. Should have been on perhaps from the start. Ramsey has been injured.
Yeah.
Along with Joel Matip and Joe Gomez. We spent money on renewing Joe Gomez's contract, the worst centre-back of the four we have. He is another one we could have got at least 40 million for. We could have just shuttled him off. I would have preferred sticking with Nat Phillips or Reece Williams than Joe Gomez. He's a number two, a backup for Trent at best, but we've already bought Ramsey. And then we sold Nico Williams, who is a much better right back and can also play left back. He can also play further up the pitch in an attacking basis, proven international. So I just don't see the logic. And it's really, I'm kind of worried, especially after what Jurgen Klopp has said recently about him not really having any control over the purse strings, and hoping that we could take some more chances in the transfer market. And I think, unfortunately, that those comments have really set things off amongst the Liverpool fans. We're more worried than we have been in a while. Figures have come out to show that, we've got the lowest net spend of, I think, like 15 or 16 teams in the Premier League. We've brought money in and then we can spend it. And that's been a big issue. We've performed out well above what our investment has been, and we can't keep on doing this. I think it's time for FSG to fuck off, to be honest with you. John Henry can go. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think a lot of Liverpool supporters are done. This was the transfer window that broke the back. We've been crying out for a midfielder. Like I said, we should have got rid of Keita. We should have got rid of Oxlade-Chamberlain, shuttled them off. Thank God the only one who didn't go, who might have, would have been Bobby Firmino, and he has actually hit some form, which is great. I mean, he hadn't scored at Anfield since 2020, and now he's had 3 in 2 games, which is great. Fantastic. Thank God we've got somebody leading the line, and his passes are starting to come off, and that understanding with Mo Salah, especially after missing Sadio Mane, who's obviously doing very well in Germany. I saw Caleb was talking about Thiago, and Thiago's made of glass. He is crocked. Hendo is crocked. Hendo shouldn't be a first-team player anymore. He should be a squad player. He is our captain and has done so much for us, but unfortunately, he is not fit enough at the top level. We need a new captain because, James Milner cannot be the vice captain because James Milner is even older and he's just a backup.
Yeah.
And look, he is great to be able to bring on, but my view is that Henderson shouldn't be the captain and he should be a backup. We do need at least 2 new midfielders to complement Harvey Elliott, who has been, thank God, he's been our saving grace in midfield. So maybe this Artemelo will actually play it double pivot with Fabinho at the base, which will give us Harvey Elliott sort of like surging into those gaps. Mm-hmm. And then we've got Luis Diaz and Mo Salah breaking either side of Darwin Nunez, providing he can stay on the pitch long enough, or Bobby as he continues his return to form. Because we've been conceding stupid goals. So many. The only time we haven't conceded a goal first was when we were busy beating a really, really mediocre Bournemouth side. Right. So, yeah, I'm very disappointed with the transfer window. Started off strong, petered off. I don't agree with some of our sales. I really don't agree with some of the players, with the lack of players that have come in. I think FSG, their time has come and gone. We're looking at 11 years now. 11 or 12, I think, perhaps. They need to step aside. They need to sell Liverpool to somebody who is going to invest. And as Caleb says, it costs money to win. Simple as that. If we, there are players who we want, who would make us better, and who won't come to Liverpool because of this archaic wage structure and the fact that the upper management will not spend the money while they're busy taking money out. I mean, it's not Glazer level at Man United. We'll get to those in a minute. So again, I don't know how they're making the money and how much they're spending. But yeah, it's really disappointing. And following on from the Super League debacle last year, I think their time has come. They should put the club up for sale. They'll get a lot of really interesting offers, providing we don't go to a sports washing Middle Eastern theocracy that beheads 80 people in the last since the start of the year alone. Newcastle United, or the other one, Manchester City. I mean, we don't want an oligarch. We want somebody who's going, who's obviously going to put funds in, and somebody who has, isn't a total fuck all. I mean, it would be nice to have an owner who's not a total dickbag. Unfortunately, that seems to be in short supply in the Premier League, or just in general.
For builders, it's not a lot of.
No, there's not. I mean, knowing our luck, it'll be frickin' Elon Musk.
Oh, I wanted him to buy Man U so badly when those rumors started.
Oh, could you imagine? Look, there's a match made in heaven. Yeah. The team of douches with the biggest douche on the planet. So yeah. Anyway, I'm very disappointed with how the window ended. There's not enough to see. There's not enough investment. Started off strong, petered off, and I'm going to give Liverpool a C-, to be honest with you, because there's not enough proven quality coming into that line anyway. 2 of those players are well under 20. Arthur is a last gasp panic signing. Admittedly, he's come from Barcelona and then on to Juve, but he couldn't make the grade either. So what makes him good enough for us? Oh, we're waiting for Jude Bellingham next year. Well, what's the odds that Jude Bellingham will end up with someone like Manchester City next year? Because again, we don't have a divine right to sign these players if we won't pay them and we won't pay for the transfer funds. We should be looking at Bellingham, Harvey Elliott, and Declan Rice. Maybe should be coming to Liverpool as an upgrade. Yeah, so I'm very, very angry and disappointed. I don't think we're going to do well. I think we're going to have to try and find somebody again in the January season. But we have to get rid of. There's too much dead weight in the team. I mean, we did get rid and raise some funds, but it's very poor, piss poor. C-.
I'll go with a C. I obviously don't have the emotional attachment that you have. But yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. They could have done better, could have done more, and it's all on the owner for that one. So moving on to my club, Manchester City, we have Erling Haaland, Calvin Phillips, young Mr. Alvarez from Argentina, Ortega for our backup keeper, and our last-minute center back signing, Akanji. And that was more for health reasons because we have two center backs that are battling with fitness issues. But really, it's all about Haaland for City there. And it's funny, after game week 1, a lot of people were like, wow, Nunez is the better signing than Haaland. And then, a few weeks later.
Week 1, it was the Charity Shield, to be fair, because Erling did miss. He missed some sitters. He did miss some sitters. And then Darwin came on and he helped with the equaliser. He scored. He set up a goal and he scored or whatever it was. Right. To be fair, I mean, Erling didn't have his best game, but boy, has he made up for it since. And oh boy, am I glad I got him in the fantasy league.
Yeah, he's doing great.
I couldn't believe it. Nobody went for him.
Oh, what pick did you have again? I don't think I could have gotten him. I think you were ahead of me.
Possibly, I don't know, but yeah, I think I was like third or fourth.
Yeah, I was 5 or 6 if I remember correctly.
Because I mean, last year you won. Actually, you won and I came second.
Yeah.
So based on last year, I think we were down on the lower end. But anyway, yeah, I went with him, and I'm grateful. I mean, 2 hat tricks in 2 games.
Yeah.
Hallelujah! He's pulling in all my points, but.
Going back to the Shield, though, I think he just didn't look as fit as he is now. I think he was still finding his legs.
I also think the team wasn't prepared to play with an out-and-out striker, which they haven't done since Sergio Aguero.
Yeah. And also the preseason matches, we only did 3. You guys had 6. So you
drafted us because it totally knocked half our team.
Yeah, I still disagree. I still think that was the bad decision. But Caleb says City broke the curve with Haaland's price tag alone. His production for cost will make it hard. Yeah. I mean, he had the release clause, though, so that's not on them. But, his wages are...
Yeah, it's the wages that are astronomical and the milestones. And, again, it's going to be one of those ones where see what it's like when they come up against a really good defense. And they come up against one of the supposed top teams. I think it'll be interesting to see Man City, Arsenal, especially because Arteta is, of course, Pep Light in a lot of ways. Newcastle was an interesting game last week to that 3-3 draw. The fact that showed some chinks in the armor. But yeah, I got to say A+. I mean, just for Erling Haaland alone, the guy he's played 4 games and he's broken a record.
Yeah,
and he's only going to go stronger. So as long as he stays fit, and that's the big if, because he normally around the mid-season comes down with a little niggly injuries.
Right.
And I don't think he's going to World Cup this year. No way to qualify. So he's going to have some time off, which is going to be good.
Yeah.
But at some point, he's going to come up against a clogger of a central defender who's going to make a name for himself. And despite Erling being a big lad at 6'4" and somebody who can shift, somebody's going to try and put a boot into his knee or something evil like that because, just to make a name for themselves.
You mean like Roy Keane did to his dad?
Yeah, basically. There's there's a Vinnie Jones out there somewhere who's going to make a name for himself. But yeah, Man City are going to win this season. I think Haaland is also. I mean, the other players who've come in, Calvin Phillips, great midfielder, replacing the dirtiest player in the world in Fabinho.
Not Fabinho, that's your guy.
No, Fernandildo, that's it, Fernandildo. So Calvin Phillips is a great player. Obviously, I don't know much about Alvarez. I know he scored on Saturday.
Yeah.
Not Saturday, sorry, the other day against the last goal, I think it was, wasn't it? Against Forest?
Yeah, it was Forest. He reminds me of Aguero, actually. He's a shorter striker, very, very mobile. And I it's kind of good that he's kind of flying under the radar with Haaland there. It's no pressure on him. Yeah. I think he has a great future at City, either as a backup striker and as a winger. So I'm happy about that signing.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ortega and Akanji, I mean, great. I'm sure they're great players because Man City doesn't waste money on idiots. But Haaland alone means A+ for Man City, and they're going to jog away with the league at some point. Arsenal will pull an Arsenal. Liverpool does not have the strength and depth this season. It's as if last season knackered us out. Chelsea don't know whether they're coming or going.
Man U,
Conte at Spurs might pull something out of the hat, but I still think they're about a year off being fully percolated to challenge as a championship, and that's where I don't know if Conte will stay because something will upset him and he'll bugger off in a strop. So yeah, I think Man City probably to win the league by about 10 to 15 points this year. And I think Haaland is the final piece in the Champions League puzzle for Man City.
Yeah, I agree.
If he stays fit, and if everybody stays fit, I mean, obviously the issue then is, do they rest Haaland for some Premier League games to keep him fresh for the big gun games in Europe when they're going to need them against the Real Madrid? Because they should have beaten Real Madrid last year over two legs. And they didn't. Haaland would have been a difference. And then how long they keep him before Real Madrid do a bunch of shady stuff like they always do, find money down the back of the couch, break financial fair play while saying, oh, we didn't do it, and put the money out there so he can go to Real Madrid. I mean, that's going to be interesting, but A+. You can't argue with it. It's a read. I'm jealous. I'm actually jealous of that. The strength in every position. And again, you got rid of players who weren't necessarily deadwood, but it just goes to show the strength, quality of your squad in that Sterling, Jesus, and Zinchenko, just those three alone, which have actually made teams better.
Right.
With surplus to requirements.
Right. They weren't guaranteed starters, and that's a testament to City's depth.
Yeah.
Question about Haaland for you. Are you surprised at how quickly he's adapted to the league? I am. I didn't think he would be. I thought he would be excellent. I didn't think it would be this soon.
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, the Community Shield was not a great experience for him. You could, like you said, we could see people adjusting, etc., etc. But Pep is a great coach, and you've seen how they started tinkering, and people have started to figure out his movement, and he started to figure out his movement. You just look at his 2 hat tricks. I saw the Notts Forest one. It's Notts Forest, to be fair, who have a great coach in Steve Cooper, but they're not going to set the world alight. But the movement and the fact that he's there, he's a link man and a poacher. He's the complete forward in a lot of ways. He can score with either foot. He scored a perfect hat trick the other day, left, right, and head. Yeah. That's a hard thing to do. So the fact that he's adapted, given that he's scored goals everywhere. I mean this in the most. I'm not insulting him by saying he's a freak of nature. He's a freak. he should be a shoo-in for the Ballon d'Or this year.
Well,
simply because of what he's going to do at Manchester City, and what he's already started to do with the records. If he carries on the way that he is, he will, for a very long time, be the number one undisputed player in the world.
Caleb chimes in with, I thought for certain he would really need a season to adapt. Yeah, I was thinking half a season, Caleb. Just because he is so, his combination of size and strength, it's just so unusual. And even now it looks like sometimes next to some quality defenders, he looks like a man amongst boys. Really,
he's a huge bugger.
Yeah.
He is a huge bugger. I mean, there's nothing you can say about him. He's no right to be that quick. He's no right to have that delicate a touch when he's laying the ball off. He's everything. He is everything, and I'm just jealous that Liverpool didn't even make a move for him. It was almost like we've admitted defeat.
Top it all off, he has a really hot sister, which is actually true. I mean, look, it's just those genetics.
But she's also 17'6", and does she play football for the Norwegian ladies team?
She does not, quite sadly. As far as I can tell, she seems to be some kind of influencer. So,
oh well.
No.
All right. So yes, A+. Well done, Manchester City. Have the title now. Good.
Yeah. Moving out of Manchester and moving to Old Trafford, because that's where Manchester United actually are. Let's go with Man U. They picked up Antony, who was their big record signing, but before that, they have Christian Eriksen, Martinez at center back, and Malacia.
Who else? You're missing one. They signed the midfielder from Real Madrid. Pikachu. What? I can't remember his name. Somebody, Caleb, help me out here. Come on.
I thought I had all of them.
No, they spent 60 or so million on what's his face from Real Madrid, the 30-year-old defensive midfielder.
Oh, Casemiro.
That's it. Yeah, there you go. You're missing Casemiro. So they spent 100 million on Antony, 60 on Casemiro, another 40 or 50 on Martinez. I don't know how Malakakia, how much he cost. And then Eriksen. And Eriksen is a player Liverpool should have signed. We should have been in for him on a free. I mean, come the F on when you need a creative player who's good at pressing and doesn't get injured. I mean, he didn't even let a heart attack stop him from playing. I mean, that's how baller this guy is. And now he is forever tainted. He can't play for Liverpool because he's playing with douchebag Bruno Fernandes and all the other idiots at Manchester United. And look, if that was any other team, that would be a really, really good, a really good transfer window. I think that's a really good spine. They've also signed Dubravka on loan from Newcastle.
They needed him because they got rid of Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson going was great for Henderson. I mean, he needed to get away from there.
I think that's the wrong call. I think they should have just cut ties with De Gea and gone all in with Henderson, especially with Ten Hag, because Ten Hag likes to play out of the back, and De Gea cannot do that.
He cannot do that, but I'm happy that they've kept him.
Yeah.
So that means hopefully by the time Liverpool welcome them to Anfield in 6 months, we'll actually be able to play. But yeah, that's a great window for them. I think, unfortunately, they may have been overspending. I mean, with regards to the quality of player they brought in, I don't know much about Antony, but Casemiro is a great defensive midfielder. Eriksen is a great attacking midfielder. Martinez is the world's smallest central defender, but he seems to be picking up. He really does seem to be, he's Javier Mascherano in size and stature, but seems to be picking things up and moving a lot better now and adapting to the system. Ten Hag's got them going in a system where Rashford is bombing down one wing. Jadon Sancho is going down the other wing. Now with Antony perhaps at the spearhead, because let's face it, Ronaldo is done. I mean, he's going to have splinters in his ass for the rest of the season. That's a really good team built to perhaps counterattack. But again, the problem is that Manchester United have overspent.
Yeah.
100 million on Anthony is probably about 40 million too much. And Casemiro was 65 million, 60 to 70, whatever it was, for a 30-year-old. Are you kidding me? When they actually got Eriksen, who is the same age as Casemiro, for nothing.
Yeah, Casemiro was, I think, quite clearly the best defensive midfielder in the world 5 years ago. Now, I think he's definitely lost a step. He's still really good, but
he's no Fred, and he's no McTominay.
He's an upgrade from McFred for sure. So
yeah, I mean he's no was Nemanja Matic, or Fellaini.
Oh,
they've had some donkeys over the years in there. And look, they're stringing some wins together. They've won 3 on the bounce now. Obviously, starting when they beat my team, when the only time we turned up was like 10 minutes before the end of the game. So he's got a plan. He's putting it together.
Yeah, like
players.
Even though Martinez is the shortest center back in the league, he's exactly the center back that Ten Hag wants, whereas Maguire is not. So you have the shortest center back and you have the slowest center back on the same team. That should be fun.
Well, you've got Varane as well, who is just he had a quiet season last year, and he seems to be finding his place. I got to say, I am kind of looking forward to seeing Erling Haaland come up against Martinez.
It's like one little boy.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been really happy seeing Darwin Nunez come up against him as well, but Darwin Nunez was obviously suspended, so we'll have to wait until Anfield for that one. So you got to think that there's going to be a couple of bumps in the road there. But Ten Hag he's a good coach. He is a very good coach. So yeah, I mean, if that was any other squad, perhaps I would say that's a B+ of a transfer window. But it's Manchester United, and they've really overspent on 2 of those players in Anthony and Casemiro, and so I'm going to have to give them a C+.
I agree. I give them a C+ as well, partially because the players that they brought in are kind of living off their past days, and I think the big thing for them was just not getting rid of Ronaldo for whatever reason. They needed to get that guy.
Well, they can't afford to get him off the books. They're paying him $500,000 a week.
Yeah.
Nobody's got that money. So what they're going to do? Pay somebody else to take him?
Oh, wasn't there? Was it AC Milan that was interested in him? Or
no, I think Atleti were interested at some point. But yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It serves them right. So
I just said that, Caleb. Come on.
All right, Caleb. I'm giving them a C-.
Wow. Okay. C-. Yeah. I will stand in solidarity with you, Marcus. I too give Man U a C-. Let's do it.
Anyway. All right.
Moving back to London, Spurs picked up Richarlison, Perisic, Longley, Bissouma, Forster, Spence, and the Christian Romero signing was made permanent. Yeah, I mean, they've been on the upswing since Conte's arrived. Attitudes changed. The players they brought in all make sense, and Conte's a proven winner.
And Harry Kane's still an asshole.
That needs subtitles because he's kind of speaking English, kind of not.
He was on the Tonight Show over the summer with Jimmy Fallon. I saw that pop up on actually I think it was yesterday on the Peacock feed for Deadline Day when they were carrying the Sky Sports feed, and I'm like, why the hell is the most boring man in football on the Jimmy Fallon show? And then it's like, I want to be for a major league kicker. I think I could do it.
That's
come on.
That's a really good impersonation. He does want to market himself in America because he does.
But he's got the personality of a used condom.
Yeah,
there's nothing there. I mean, he's a superlative football player. He's very focused. But when you make Alan Shearer look interesting, you got a problem.
He wants to make it to the NFL one day. So.
Fine, he should fuck off the NFL now and do us all a favor. But they've done some great business. I mean, even Fraser Forster. I mean, talk about to see that goalkeeper get a chance at it in the Champions League after all his years of tootling around. I mean, this is a player who's, I think he was at Manchester United for a while, never really got a game. Then he was at Watford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where else he's been, but he gives Journeyman. He has actually a podcast about him cycling. He does a podcast about his cycling. But I mean, he gives Journeyman a whole new definition. But Richarlison, total thug, can't stand the prick because obviously he plays for Everton and he injured Thiago in his second game. I'm hoping again somebody puts a boot through his knee at some point. Persic, another thug. Basuma, talented midfielder. I don't know about Lengleat, whatever his name is. Jed Spence is a right back, more of a wing back. And then Romero was made permanent. Romero was a good signing, I think, from last year. And they obviously have Kulichevsky, who is on year 2 of his 2-year loan. He is an excellent player. I mean, Spurs have a really, really good squad. They have an exciting, vibrant squad with a little bit of arse about them, a little bit of arse, or a little bit of dickhead. You need that little bit every now and again because you look at the manager and Conte likes his teams with a bit of evil in them.
Yeah, he's a fiery guy, as we've seen with his encounter with Mr. Tuchel there.
Oh, that was funny, wasn't it? It was I was just waiting for them to bring out their European-style man bags and start hitting each other with them.
I thought he was going to go for the hair plugs and try to...
no, not the plugs, not the plugs.
Now... before we get to that, I do want to talk to you about something really quick.
Well, let's give Spurs. I'm going to give Spurs a B. I'm going to give Spurs a B+ because those are signings that the manager wants.
Yes,
they have the hallmarks, rubber stamped of the manager, and then you compare that to Liverpool, where I don't know if if you look at Carvalho, he was the one who was literally signed after the last window back in January, February. Anyway, he was always coming in. I don't know how much of that was Jurgen Klopp's signings, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of worried by that. So, yeah, I'm going to give them a B+ because they have a team, they have an identity, they've upgraded in every single department they've got for the future. I mean, Foster is out there, but Spence is a great potential right back. Richarlison, Persic, like I said, that's some real evil bastard in midfield. Basuma's got some silky skills. That's a really good transfer window.
I'm also going to go B+. They improved a lot of depth. I don't think they're really competing for the league.
Excuse me.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you.
I think they're a season or two away from really competing for the league, but they're definitely going in the right direction. So
they could take second spot this year.
Yeah, I agree.
They could take second spot, especially as Liverpool have not. I mean, it was the draws against Spurs last year that really cost us the title, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think we have it in us to really go that far again. I think there's too many old people. So, I think they could actually be runners up this year.
Now, Marcus, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been to Madison, Wisconsin?
No.
Okay, but if you ever do,
what is this? I saw this on your thing earlier when you were talking to Ray Casillo. What's the Cooper's Tavern? What is it?
The Cooper's Tavern, my friend, is, to me, the finest gastropub in Madison, Wisconsin, possibly the finest gastropub in the Midwest.
Okay, and look, I mean, I'm sorry. Are you getting money from these guys?
No, I am not.
Because I mean, you're talking about a low bar here. I've been to the Midwest. Midwest and culinary expertise is not high. Midwest and gastropubs is even lower, a lower bar. So I mean, providing they don't serve grits, they're going to be something. They're going to be above and beyond.
They do not. But I will tell you some of the things that I've had there that I do like. Wisconsin is the cheese state. So obviously the Cooper's Tavern has some excellent poutine.
You do realize you're talking to somebody who's had a double heart attack and a double heart bypass.
I'm not telling you.
You really want to be talking about this food that would actually kill me again.
You know what else they have? They have some great bangers and mash for you. You're not eating that either. But for people who do go there, the food is great. But the staff, I think the barmen and the server.
What's the angle, Ray? What is the angle? Why are you talking about this? You're either getting poutine sent to Vegas
from Wisconsin
in an overnight case, or you're planning to go there, or you bought the place and you're running it and nobody knows about it. Why are you continually fascinated, or why are you pimping this place? The public wants to know clarity, and we need transparency here.
Yeah, they are the sponsor for this month's shows.
Okay, so in that case, I'm sure they're wonderful. I'm sure they're lovely. They're giving you money. Good for you that you are so put together. You actually have sponsors. I mean, I'm so proud of you. You're just kicking ass. I mean, I was doing my show for 18 months and I couldn't get a sponsor. I was at Game Trailers and they couldn't get a bloody sponsor. So good for you. And I will say right now that if ever I go to Madison, Wisconsin, the first thing I'm going to do after I've checked in at my motel, Airbnb, whatever's going to be there, I am going to go to the Cooper's Tavern. I'm going to have a plate of bangers and mash, and I'm going to have a pint of something strong, and I'm going to raise it that glass to you.
Fantastic. Caleb, I think you should go there too. You're the closest. Look at this. Chicago has a Michelin star gastro. Yeah, but you have to go to Chicago. There's a 50% chance you'll die, because I believe that's what the
I think it's 100% chance, because if the humidity in the summer or the cold in the winter doesn't kill you,
the gunfire will.
Exactly. I mean, did they literally shoot the planes as they land now at O'Hare?
Maybe they start issuing you guns as you arrive, just to give you a fighting chance. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
That could be a good idea. But getting back to the task at hand, I think this next point I think it's a pretty easy one. Who was the best signing?
Erling Haaland. Done. Move on.
And I absolutely agree.
Done. That's it. Next.
How about for mid-table, lower table? Anything interesting going on? You mentioned that Forest is a completely different team, like literally.
Yeah, I mean, look, in the defense, most of the team last year was made up of loan players. Players or people can be in their contracts. And Steve Cooper is a great manager, a great coach. He used to actually manage Wales. Swansea. And unfortunately, the shitty American owners wouldn't back him, or otherwise Swansea might be back in the Premiership right now. So they have bought some really good players in. Nico Williams is currently their top performer.
That's right.
National left back, plays right back everywhere else. He replaces Jed Spence, who went off to Spurs. They signed what's his name from Man United on a free. The one who was at West Ham.
Jesse Lingard.
Jesse Lingard. So they're paying him $200,000 a week on a 1-year contract, which is, if they stay up, great. He'll stay around. If not, he'll piss off somewhere else. They have signed a lot of players who have Premier League experience. The key is how quickly can they gel.
Yeah.
They don't want to be 10 points adrift of safety come Christmas when these players are starting to gel, because they want to be mid-table. They want to be mid-table and secure there. So that's interesting. Excuse me, sorry. Leeds started off strong. have returned to form.
America's team.
America's team that nobody really likes. I don't know. I mean, they've signed some good players. Like I said, they started off well. Everyone's like, oh, Jesse March, he's doing well. He's doing this, every blah, 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 especially over here with Tyler Adams and Aaron Aronson, as I like to call him. But yeah, they faltered the last couple of games. And then Newcastle with all their blood money. Isak is a great player.
Yeah.
He proved that with his debut against Liverpool on Wednesday night. Nick Pope in goal, Dan Burn. They've already got a really good midfield. Eddie Howe has invested the blood money really well. He's got them playing in a certain way. They are a good team. They've gone toe-to-toe with Liverpool, gone toe-to-toe with Manchester City.
They're going to be a tough out, especially at Newcastle. I mean, that's a raucous stadium when that's gone. I
will say the thing for them is they've got a rep now, especially after Wednesday night. They've got a time-wasting, diving rep.
Yeah.
And the referees will clamp the hell down on that. There will be an edict, an unofficial one. It will be muttered that, they lost the game because of karma. They had 5 minutes of injury time because of all the time wasting they'd done, which became 7 minutes. And because Nick Pope rolled around on the floor and also took too long over a goal kick. And the exact amount of time that he wasted was the time. And there's actually a YouTube video out there that proves this in Fabio Carvalho scoring at the very end of the extra time added to extra time. So karma bit them on the ass. So either they get their ass to gear and start playing properly. And I think when Isaac is in, or Isaac, whatever, it's a wicked game he plays. Yes. I don't know. Yeah.
That's actually what I thought of when they first signed him. Like, they signed Oscar Isaac? Like, what?
Chris Isaac, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, he, they've got a good squad. They should be nailed on for the European spots this year. But we will see, because that time wasting is going to start costing them games, and they're going to start getting players booked for simulation. Those yellow cards will wind up costing them in the long run.
So the guy that I thought was interesting was Sheikh Decore from Crystal Palace. I was watching clips of him on YouTube, and I'm like, this guy, if he adapts quickly, I think he might beat out Zaha for their best player by the end of the season. But it'll be close. I expect great things from him. So hopefully that'll work
Crystal
out.
Palace, they showed they came to, the only time I've seen them play is when they came to Anfield this season and held out for the draw. I mean, we were all over them like a cheap sweater, and they had one break and they scored from it. And more power to them, because it was a great, well-executed counter-attack. And then they held out comfortably. We got our equalizer, thankfully. Despite being down to 10 men, where Luis Diaz, who is like my only hope for the season, because Mo Salah is playing like he has no fucking clue what's going on. So I mean, Patrick Vieira had them playing so well last year. I remember watching the game where they dismantled Arsenal at Selhurst Park. That was one where I was literally waiting for the car to be serviced, and I was sitting in the waiting room at Rusnak Auto, and they had the game on. And I was just laughing my ass off, because Crystal Palace was so good and Arsenal was so inept. I think they've probably recruited well. So
yeah, Vieira's doing a great job there. I'm really impressed with what he's doing.
He is.
Now, final question of the day is, which club had the worst transfer window?
Well, I mean, look, as much as I'd love to say Everton, at least they've signed some players.
Yeah.
I mean, they've not signed great players.
Yeah.
And they have got rid of Dele Alli. So, I mean, where they managed to do something that Manchester United didn't, where they got rid of some dead wood and they've shuttled him off somewhere else. So, bye-bye, Dele.
Or is he in Turkey now or something like that?
He is. He's at Galatasaray, I believe. I mean, let's face it, that's one deli where I wouldn't like to go. Bottom, boom, thank you. And look, they've signed some players. I still say Fat Frank is going to be relegated. Is going to be sacked in the next 6 to 8 weeks. The team still hasn't had a win. They've had some battling draws, but they I'm really hoping that Liverpool return to form this weekend and twat them into middle next month, because we owe them always. But the two teams that have had the worst transfer window are Leicester and Bournemouth. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
You're looking at the bottom three in the league right there. And you are looking at Leicester, which is the absolute bottom team, who have been shorn of Wesley Fofana. They lost Kasper Schmeichel, and Danny Ward is a good keeper, Welsh international again. So I'm very aware of his skill set. Ex-Liverpool player. He was in line to be Liverpool's number one after Loris Karius had his bloopers, and then we signed Alisson, and he went from, oh shit, I'm going off to, I'm not going to be Liverpool's number one, so I'm going to be number two at Leicester. And now he's number one at Leicester, and he has nobody in front of him because the defense has been all sold. Jamie Vardy is not playing well. He's a liability.
Yeah.
Not even a flat track bully anymore. I think he was too busy, supporting his wife during her recent
that's right,
short battle with Wayne Rooney's missus. And then there's, so they've had nothing. They brought one player in, a young player in, to at least say they've got a central defender.
I saw someone mention that the owners have some financial issues. I don't know what that's all about. I haven't been following them, but yeah, it shows, guys, because you got rid of Richarlison and now.
We're talking about Everton now or Leicester.
No, you're right. I went back to Everton. But Leicester, they got rid of Fofana, who was their most promising young player, got a good fee for him, and then they didn't do anything with it.
No, because they left it too late in the window. Well, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. All right, we'll take you 70 million. Now we're going to sit on it. And then Bournemouth are relegated.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I mean, that you could actually conceive that those three that you sent on there, because Ray runs a professional show. He sends the talking points, if you're going to be on his show. And he lists for the worst transfer window, Everton, Leicester, and Bournemouth. And that is, given what's happened this season, that's my bottom three. Right there. That is relegation right there. Bournemouth don't have a freaking chance.
Yeah, they're done.
I mean, the 9-0, losing Scott Parker was such a bullshit call.
Yeah,
he is a great manager. He does need some support, and I don't think they deserve to stay up. I do hope they go down. It sucks for the players, but I mean, the club and the fans will be, oh, why are you so mean about them? I'm sorry, your ownership sucked. To pull that stunt, piss off, bugger off, back down to the, if you're lucky, you will become one of those rebound clubs that just goes up and down. But they treated Eddie Howe the same way after he did so well, so screw them. Leicester, Brendan cannot be working any more miracles. The writing was on the wall 2 seasons ago, where for 2 years running, they went from Champions League position to missing out on the last day. And they've been dropping ever since. So Brendan could be up for the sack anytime soon. And then, like I said, Everton, they don't have a style of playing. They have Anthony Gordon up front, who is a really, really promising player, but he's pretty much all they've got. They've lost their steel in midfield in Richarlison. They've got, I think, Tartovsky. I think they got him in from Burnley. But yeah, I mean,
they haven't recovered from when Ancelotti left and all the changes they made there. I don't think they've found their way since then.
Losing Ancelotti was a hammer blow. They were going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Ancelotti. And I'm sorry, Fat Frank is a major downgrade, and Fat Frank is going to be fired. In fact, I would say that Brendan and Frank Lampard will be gone before Christmas, and that is the bottom three.
I'm not quite as sold on Everton as you, but I agree with the other two. I think there's a good chance.
There's no spine there. I mean, they have one player. in Anthony Gordon. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the other player, but he's on the injury list all the time.
Yeah.
They keep on losing him. They don't have a great disciplinary record. They don't seem to have a pattern in their play. And Frank Lampard has a record of failure. I mean, Scott Parker at least has achieved some promotions. Frank Lampard couldn't even manage that. Brendan Rodgers has achieved cup wins and league wins in Scotland, and promotions with Swansea City. Frank has done nothing but fail up his entire career because of who his dad is and who his uncle is. He wasn't even that great a player, to be honest with you, in the first place. Stevie G shat all over him from a very great height. But because of who his uncle was, and because of who his dad is, the coach at West Ham, and the fact that he could take a penalty, he became this Chelsea legend. But yeah, he's not fit to lick the shit off Stevie G's boots. And Stevie G is another manager who might be fired after spending a lot of money because they've had a very busy transfer window.
Yeah,
and I don't see that gelling much. So yeah.
Caleb says, isn't Everton one of the few teams that has never been relegated for the EPL?
Well, from the top flight, not the EPL. I mean, we have to go on top flight here because Liverpool and Manchester United and Spurs, and there's Arsenal. Since the Premier League has been in place, which is 20 years now.
Yeah.
30 years. 30 years. It's literally 30 years this year, actually. 1992 it started. There's obviously been 90 teams relegated, but most of those have been Fulham or Watford, or Norwich, who just West Bromwich Albion, who just all pass each other on the way.
Like, hey, is it your?
So yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of teams that have never been relegated from the Premier League, but I think from the top flight, including the old First Division. They've never been relegated. Liverpool, I think, were relegated way back in the dark times, and then bounced back straight away.
City wasn't really. It wasn't that long ago that City was relegated.
Well, it's amazing what blood money will buy you, mate.
And that is
financial fair play should be a thing, Anyway,
I think PSG just got fined for financial fair play violations.
Good.
I didn't know that actually happened. I'm like,
well, you know what?
They enforce this?
The fines are nothing because these are countries with limitless resources. The only way that we can penalize these countries is if we get off the gasoline teat. And if we start all using electric cars and getting solar power and all this other stuff and stop using petrol. And then they're like, oh, shit, what have we got now? Sand and beheadings. We've got nothing else to offer. What needs to happen is that the teams that are found that break financial fair play need to have points docked. And I'm not talking about 10 points. I'm talking about 50. I'm talking about a relegation. I'm talking about trophies being removed, owners being barred from owning clubs. Newcastle should never have been bought by that public investment fund out of Saudi Arabia. They never should have been done it. They never should have passed the fit ownership test that they have in the Premier League. So it's really quite obscene. And yeah, fines are not going to cut it. We need to have relegations. We need to have expulsions from tournaments, from the FA Cup, from Europe, from the Premier League. Kick them out. Send them down to the to the non-leagues. Make them compete with Wrexham and Ryan Reynolds.
If 10 million is correct, if I'm remembering that correctly, I mean that's
a drop in the ocean. That's Kylian Mbappe's new monthly salary.
That's like pocket change for you or me. So I mean,
chump change, in fact, because it's the change for them, and we're the chumps.
So this transfer window was exciting to start, but it kind of fizzled out at the end there. Are you expecting any big things in January?
Oh, I'm hoping against hope for some really good signings for my team. I hope nobody else makes a signing. And I hope every other team has all their new players injured. Just being absolutely biased. I just want to get to the transfer window in January in a position to challenge for the league title and still be in Europe. I mean, screw the domestic cups. Carabao Cup can fuck off. The FA Cup doesn't actually start until January.
Yeah.
So we won the Carabao. We've won everything to win domestically. Yeah. We don't need Carabao. We don't need FA Cup. We need to focus on the big two because we don't have the resources to go a full season again of playing every single game available. And I got to hope that Fabio Carvalho and Harvey Elliott stay injury free and start, continue to be our sparks of young inspiration. Bless them. And Nunez keeps his head.
Well, I wish your team good luck in the wars to come, my friend.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it went from being so promising in the Charity Shield when we were like, oh, look how good we are. We're tearing them apart. This is our year to, oh, shit, I can't believe we've lost to Man United and now we're like in the bottom three. Oh, thankfully it didn't last long. Thank God for Bournemouth.
Yeah, you guys will be there. I have no doubt you're top.
How many goals is Erling Haaland going to score against Bournemouth the next time he sees them?
It's so funny how angry he looks when Pep takes him out.
Yeah, he doesn't look very happy at all.
Like, I want to score 5, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, look, keep him in. Keep him in. I get my fantasy league points up. Thank you very much. I don't like being stuck in third place again.
So that's going to do it for Marcus and me today. If you want to drop Marcus a line.
Don't. I don't want to talk to you. What? Shut up.
Ask him questions about Liverpool and tell him how excellent he is, because he is excellent.
I'm going off on my dinner.
And
instead, go to thecooperstavern.com. Support the Cooper's Tavern, the best tavern in Madison, Wisconsin. Hell, the best gastropub in all of Wisconsin. Dare we even say the entire Midwest? From me, I give them 2 thumbs up.
Look at that. And Caleb already said he's going there. So that's one customer that I got for them. And of course, thank you for hanging out, Caleb. And yes, I wish your team luck when you're not playing Man City. Because I love you guys. Me
and Caleb will be drowning our sorrows at the Cooper's Tavern over a fondue as I try and kill my remaining unoperated on arteries.
And all you guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like. My social media is all down there at the bottom of your screen.
Because Ray's a pro.
I am. At what? We don't know yet, but we're going to figure that out one day.
I thought it was just vaping and hot ladies for the longest time, but
and it's not getting any better than that for me. So I am going to say goodbye and see you next time.
That was fun. Thanks, mate.